Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is a spiritual seeker back with another pick a card reading again. Today's topic is going to be, what does my ex think about me? How does he feel about me or she? You know, what's really going on? You might have been separated for a while, but you're just really curious as to know, what do they think about me? So we're going to go ahead and pick from pile 1, 2 or 3. All the timestamps and everything will be linked down in the description below. I'll give you a second or two just to decide which one. And right, we're going to go ahead with the reading. So if you chose pile 1, what does your ex think about you? So we've got 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. We've got the meditation card. We've got the Mother Earth. We've got some cards up here. So we've got the Fool, we've got the Hanged Man, and the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so they definitely see you as a motherly figure. They do view you, as the Mother Earth. They see you as very caring, very compassionate, very loving, very in touch with nature. Someone who would be a very good mother to her children, or father. They just see you as someone very feminine and very forgiving. Like I said, very loving. They see you as the type of person that would be very good to have a family with. With regards to the breakup, they had to really go in with that because they had to really meditate, look at the spiritual meaning behind it. The 5th chakra is all, or the 4th chakra, sorry, is all about the heart and healing the heart. So, it was very painful for them. It did really block their heart chakra, and they've had to go into meditation, or if they aren't a spiritual person, they've had to really go inside and dig within to find the spiritual meaning behind it. They do think that it was a spiritual connection that you had together, because 2 + 5 = 7, and 7 is a spiritual number. It is known to be the most mystical number. So they have gone and done some inner work on this to heal their heart. So it did really hurt them, and it did really affect them. And whether they are spiritual or not, it is some inner work that they have done regarding that to get healing. Because even on this card, we've got the green on the hand, like surrounding the hands, almost like as if they're praying. So perhaps they did go through a phase where they was really wanting to get you back. You really did hurt the heart. However the relationship ended, it did really affect them, but they have done some inner work to find that healing, to balance their heart chakra again with Archangel Raphael. So they could have had actually some blockages there or stagnant energy with regards to these cards up here. The Hanged Man is someone who's by themselves. They're all tied up. They actually think they're a lot freer than what they are. We've got a lot of energy around the head. They are sitting there in silence thinking about this. So like with the meditation card, they are still thinking about you in solitude. And the Fool is all about starting a new journey. They have tried to move on without you. The Fool, they don't want to be tied down. They're bold. They don't care what others think. They feel refreshed about the situation. So now that they've done this healing work regarding the breakup, they are starting something new. They might actually not be a very committed person, and it might have just been too much for them. So that's why they've had to go, like the Hangman, back into solitude, back into thinking mode, healing the heart, because they just can't deal with the emotions. The Fool is someone who's very naive as well. Very naive when it comes to love and the world and how the world works. So even though they do see you as this Mother Earth figure, and they do idolise you as this loving, caring, compassionate person, I feel like the emotions are too much for them. They possibly don't have or they didn't when you were together have their heart chakra open, and because of that, they couldn't really feel what it was meant to feel like. They was very naive in love, and they had to go and start afresh because it was just too much. And it required a lot of thinking, like the Hanged Man, and it required a lot of deep inner, mediating with themselves. It did require a lot of inner work and inner thinking, and perhaps that thinking was just too much for them, and that's why they had to walk away, or you had to walk away, because perhaps they were just very foolish in the relationship, and they didn't really, they loved love, but they didn't really know what love was, perhaps. Yeah, very naive. and they had to start again, and that's why. But they have thought about this. They do think that you was meant to be together for the time that you was together, and that you did have a spiritual connection. However, it was just too much for them on their heart chakra. And as well with the Page of Pentacles, the page, he's not the knight, he's not the king. He's still very young, still very innovative and fresh. And the Pentacles talks about wealth and finances. So perhaps they had to go on a new journey to do something in career first. Perhaps that they had to work on some finances. They wasn't quite financially ready to have a family with you. They couldn't provide that for you. They wasn't emotionally ready. I feel like this person just wasn't ready for this connection. So they've had to have some time alone. There's a lot of energy around the head. So yeah, and the Page of Pentacles is all about contemplation as well, and creativity. So perhaps they had to go on a new creative endeavour, and it just wasn't the right time for this relationship. They was too young, they was too naive, it just wasn't the right time. It wasn't ready. As much as they did love and care about you and see you as this Mother Earth figure, they just couldn't do it because it was too much on the heart, it was too much on the emotions. They've had to do a lot of inner work and inner healing before they're ready, and now they're off on a new journey. And you've really provided them with that lesson. So it is really a good thing. You have taught them a lot. You've made them learn some new things. So they do really respect you and appreciate you. And they still have that love for you. They might have seen you as like a motherly figure. You might have found, because they were the fool, that you were always babying them and trying to look after her, making sure that they're fed, making sure that they get enough sleep, and over worrying about them, being very protective over him, because it was more like a mother and mother or father and child relationship. It were more like that rather than an actual relationship, because they were the fool, they were so naive. But now they have grown up a bit, and they're coming into that page energy now, where they are working on the finances behind the scenes. They are healing the heart. They are going in to do the work. So, yeah. So if you chose pile 2, what does your ex think about you? We've got focus, boundaries. We've got broken heart, right? And then we've got some cards up here. So we've got the King of Cups. We've got the Knight of Cups. And we've got the Page of Swords. So, however this relationship ended, they are brokenhearted about it. And I feel as though this ex in particular is going on social media a lot, Facebook, that sort of thing, showing off for the life, look what I'm doing, look where I'm going. But trust me, they aren't playing happy families, because the 9 is all about solitude. They are brokenhearted, they are still thinking about you, because that's where all their focus is. All their focus is on how heartbroken they are and how are they going to mend the heart, and wanting to get back with you. But they are doing this in solitude. So as much as that they are posting on social media, just know that what people put on social media and what's actually going on is 2 different things. So they did really love you. That's all that they're thinking about at the moment. There was a lot of passion in this relationship, possibly. Yeah. They got their eyes on the prize on this card. This woman's got their eyes on the prize. I feel like they are trying to get back with you. But at the moment, they are too heartbroken to come forward, because they are brokenhearted and they are in solitude. They are taking that time out. And it is possible that you broke up because either one of you overstepped a boundary, overstepped a line, said some hurtful things. They possibly see you as a bit of a pushover, can't say no to people, or they are like that. They just can't say no. Perhaps there was some infidelity, and that's the reason why you broke up, because they can't say no to other partners or possible relationships, and they couldn't stay faithful to you. But they have realised this after you broke up, that they did love you, because they're like wallowing in self-pity. And then we come over to the traditional cards over here. The King of Cups It's all about someone who is fulfilled, really. The King of Cups, you know, you did fulfill them, you did fulfill their needs, but it's someone who's very in control of their emotions, very emotionally stable. You know, he's got the cup, but he's expressionless here. He's not really thinking about it, but he's got the prize, he's got the trophy. Not like this person would see you as a trophy, but you know, you did fulfill them. But there were some issues with boundaries. Perhaps this relationship was uncomfortable for them because it was a type of relationship that they'd never had before. But you know, as you can see with the cards, we're moving up from the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is all about dreaming, and you know, he's carrying a cup, he's giving invitations, he's on a horse, he's on his way. So he's learning through dreams. So perhaps after this heartbreak, they was dreaming about you quite a lot. And now they're managing to withhold those emotions and keep very calm, very collected. So they might not be showing this to you. I don't feel like they would actually tell you this, but they were dreaming about you. You know, the Swords is all about thinking. They were thinking about you. Because the Page of Swords is someone who's very talkative, very restless, got a restless mind. They're very curious, very idealistic, very foolish. So perhaps at the beginning of the breakup, they was like, oh, you know, focusing on the broken heart, focusing on what went wrong, focusing on how you could get back together in that constant thinking mode. And then they moved on from that, and now they're in the Knight of Cups where, you know, they weren't really thinking about you too much, but they were still dreaming about you in the sleep, subconscious memories and thoughts coming through. Still in the restless energy, you know, we're not quite a king yet, and now they've moved into the energy of the King of Cups, where they are cool and calm and collected, they are in control of their emotions. So perhaps now they have more of a hold over how they are thinking and feeling. He is mastering emotions, or she is mastering emotions right now. They are coming to terms with this broken heart, they are healing it. We have got some work that is being done. They are shifting their focus to their own boundaries. They are shifting their focus to how they deal with emotions. Perhaps that they had very erratic, restless behaviour in this relationship, and that's why the boundaries card is there. And they're moving up from the Page to the Knight to the King, and they aren't going to tell you this, because the King of Cups is someone who masters emotions and doesn't really talk about them. But it doesn't mean that they're guarded or they suppress emotions, but you wouldn't really know what they were thinking unless they specifically had a heart-to-heart conversation with you. But yeah, you know, it did cause them a lot of heartache and pain, but I do see healing through these cards. They have healed and moved on from you. You know, they have got the drive and the determination. You know, you did give them focus, but it was an unhealthy focus because it was overstepping boundaries, because you were all that they were thinking about. And now they have more control over these emotions. They're reining them in a little bit. They're seeing the bigger picture. They've moved up from the Page to the Knight to the King. So they are more in balance now. So, you know, this has took time for them. They have had to go in and be in solitude. But they are still thinking about you. But they're seeing you in a more healthy way. You know, they've got boundaries, so I don't feel like they would want to get back with you now. At the beginning, you might have had your phone blowing up, your messages, come on, let's get back together, I'm broken hearted, you're all I can think about. But, you know, now they've got boundaries for themselves, saying no, this isn't right. I'm in control of my emotions now, they have settled down. I'm no longer in this broken heart phase and solitude. I am moving into emotional wealth and emotional stability. So that's what they think about you if you pick pile 2. So if you picked pile 3, what does your ex think about you? We have the King of Rods, the 6 of Swords, the 9 of Rods, or Rods is also wands, by the way. We've got the Garden and the Gate. We've got Belonging, and we've got Endings and Beginnings. So a lot of heartache in this breakup. You know, this is possibly a fresh breakup, or it still feels very recent to them, because, you know, we've got this lady here who's, you know, in the garden, but she's behind the gate. You know, she's staying safe, she's staying guarded, she's not wanting to go out into the wilderness. And the 3 also as well is about struggle and possibly a third party, possibly infidelity and cheating, wanting to stay safe, wanting to guard their emotions, really wanting to guard what they're thinking. Perhaps, you know, they were a bit very unsure about the relationship, on how to proceed. It's somewhere where they've never ventured before, a type of relationship that they've never been in. And you know, the 6 of Swords is a very painful card. It is about loss, it's about mourning, it's about, you know, this person, this man here, starting a new life. It's about endings and beginnings, like with this card. The old must be released so that the new can enter. It's all about going in a new direction, but they know that they need to go in this new direction because the relationship was unhealthy in some way. Perhaps the emotions behind it and the intentions weren't healthy. It wasn't emotionally stable for them. And you know, they have an issue with safety and security, and it just wasn't emotionally safe for them. It's all about taking everything that you've got and starting somewhere new. They feel very regretful about you. They're still mourning you, but they know that this change is very necessary for them because they need to find somewhere that they belong. Perhaps that you just weren't very good together, you weren't very compatible, and now they're going to find sailing off into another world. They need to find somewhere they belong. They need to find their own people. They need to find like-minded individuals. Perhaps that you just clashed a lot, or perhaps you were really good in the beginning and it just got to a point where you just weren't right together anymore. You both knew that you had to go in separate directions and separate paths. Because the nine of rods or the 9 of wands, it's all about having the courage, you know, to do that new thing, to go off into that new direction, to leave something behind, to start something new, a new beginning. And the 9 of rods, you know, he's also guarded as well. He's guarded like the woman. He's protected himself. And it is all about a test of faith and resistance. So they possibly think that you were a test of faith, your love was a test of faith, and they just couldn't do it. They had to start off, they had to do something new. You know, the King of Rods is all about a born leader, a very fiery energy, very honourable, very respectful. But the Wands is all about fiery energy and passion. There could have been a lot of passion in this relationship, or possibly a lot of fiery arguments. However, the King of Rods isn't just about thinking. He puts things into action. You know, he's got the lion behind him. He's pouncing. He's putting this new beginning into action. He's sailing off, or she's sailing off into the unknown. Yeah. This person is a king. They're in king energy. You know, they're not a dreamer. They're being rational about the situation. I really loved you. However, this wasn't safe for me. I didn't feel like I belonged. I've got to do something new. I've got to put that into action. I've got to set sail and go somewhere else. I still love you. However, this is necessary that I move on, that you move on, that we separate our paths. They do respect you. They do honour you. They do think highly of you. They still have a vast amount of respect for you, like the King of Wands or the King of Rods. But there's some aspect that's guarded. There's some aspect that just couldn't let you in. Or there's some aspect that's really hurt them, that's made them this way. They just couldn't step out of that comfort zone. Perhaps, you know, prior to being together, there was a bit of a player, or, you know, that sort of person that just liked to sleep around, and they wasn't willing to step into that out of that comfort zone to be a family, or to have a long-term relationship, or be committed for the long term. And you've definitely taught them about starting over and starting a new beginning. Perhaps you were even together quite a long time, and that's where the heartache is coming from, because they've been with you for so long, and you felt like that you belonged, and then suddenly you didn't feel like home anymore. You didn't feel like you belonged, or they didn't feel that way, And so they had to leave home. They had to leave home, past the gate. And they had to start something new. They just had a calling for something else. And this could have been a very big shock. But they had that fire energy behind them with the wands. And they were like, no, I've got to put this into action. I've got to do it. I've got to go for calmer waters. We're arguing now. We're no longer right for each other. I no longer feel like I belong in this relationship. It's no longer home for me. So yeah, they do respect you. You know, they did have feelings there. Or perhaps there was some aspect of their feelings that still feel guarded. They're still guarding some feelings, hiding them. If they are with another partner now, they still hide feelings about you to them if you are brought up in conversation. But they knew it was necessary to start this new beginning and release old habits and negativity. So yeah, they knew they had to do it. So yeah, that's what they think and feel about you. I hope you enjoyed this reading, guys. I hope these cards resonated with you. If you'd like to see more readings like this, drop a comment below. Like and subscribe. Tell me more of what you'd like to see. And I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you, guys. Bye.